All right. Hi, everyone. It's Kelly and Cheryl here for our monthly chat about all things tutoring and teaching and entrepreneuring and all that good stuff. So, Cheryl, you were telling me about what you have planned this year for the Tech Hub for Tutors, and it is really exciting. So I want you to tell me about that. Then I'm going to tell you about how I am using your ideas that I've learned from you about Google Classroom in my business. So you go ahead and tell us, what is your plan?
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. We meet monthly. We always chat, and then I will say something like "Great chat." And last time I said it, everybody was like, "Oh, where's the recording?" So you're getting like this is how we meet. We show up, we chat, and we learn from each other. And I think that's the amazing part about Zoom and about Kelly lives thousands of miles away from me, and so we're able to do this. But for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sheryl Uehling. I am a reading interventionist, reading tutor. I also help my students with their writing, and if they need help with math, I do. I focus specifically on elementary kids, and now I also help coach tutors and other educators who are trying to figure out this technology thing. And it started out with Google Classroom, the Google Classroom Boot Camp, built into the Tech Hub for Tutors, and we're starting our second year of the Tech Hub for Tutors. And so Kelly and I were chatting about the different things that I was going to be having as far as support materials, and I will go through those. Now, Kelly, I have a question for you. If you had a question for technology and you're like, what technology do you have like a lot of, you either hear a lot of questions about or you personally experience, what's something that you experience that you kind of just scratch your head and go, I'll do that later?
That's a tough question because when we were chatting before, we were talking about everything from Google Classroom to using an email software, like to build your email list, to, like marketing, technology
Yes.
around marketing. So there's like a lot of different things. But you know what? And I know you probably can't help me with this one. I'll just say the one that I want to learn the most this year. I want to continue to keep learning about Google Classroom, and I'll talk to you more about how I'm using that later. But the one I want to learn about the most this year is Facebook and Instagram ads.
That's a good one. And that is not one that I'm going to be an expert at. So we know who to go to. You
I
ask me
know.
that,
Sorry, Cheryl.
I will learn from you. If you offer a course, you already know I'm going to sign up for it because they take your courses. Because when you offer them, they're so packed with information, and I just learned so much. So I want to thank you for being such a great teacher, not only for students but also for educators. Okay, so let's get into what I'm going to tackle. The very first thing that I want people to know is that in the Tech Hub for Tutors, I really focus on Google products. And the reason I do that is because I teach remotely, and I either teach off of my phone, my tablet, my computer, and I just pack up and go. And Kelly and I were just chatting, and I'm going to be gone two times coming up, and one of them I'm teaching remotely. So you can do that, and honestly, I wouldn't even have to take my computer with me. I could literally teach off my phone, but the screen is so small. By the end of the night, I'd be like, I can't see. So I'm going to take a larger device just because of the bad eyes, but. I literally have taught off my phone, and I do that using Google Classroom. So I just launched the Google Classroom Boot Camp. I have the doors open actually until tomorrow, but I would extend them if anybody reached out. I did a live training that I recorded, shared different tips and tricks on how to use Google Classroom one-on-one, small group, and using it for an online course as well. And then moving on towards February, everybody that's in the Tech Hub for Tutors are going to get the following trainings. And I don't know if you want me just to list them or just talk about them. What
Maybe
do
you
you
just
think?
talk about them, like give people an overview of what they're going to kind of get out of the training.
Sure, sure. So each month I'm going to focus on one Google app, like Google Docs, Google Slides. Did you know that YouTube is in your Google apps? Well, it is. So that to me is a Google app. We're going to be talking about creating not only content that you can teach with, but maybe content that you want to publish somewhere. We're also going to be talking about website development. And did you know that Google Sites is a free way to build out a website? You just have to optimize it with your SEO. So we're going to be talking about how to do that. And then you and I had been talking a little bit, Kelly, about marketing. Marketing is pretty tricky if you're not working for a company. And to be quite honest, I'm not, because I know that in my pocket, I will make more money working for myself. So doing things like doing a podcast, being a guest on a podcast, as a matter of fact, Kelly, she's got me on today, and she even sent an email out to her followers to ask them to be on the podcast. This is a great way to share what you're an expert at, and people get to know, like, and trust you. So take advantage of those. And then a few other things that I have on here is like a Google Calendar training. And then also just knowing how to use Google Meet effectively. So many people use Zoom and then they're afraid to jump into the Google Meet, but it's really not a lot different. And I like it because it speaks so nicely with the Figma whiteboard that I use. And I can build those whiteboards out and then just launch them in the meeting, and they're interactive, and the kids can literally write on the board right in the meeting. And so those are just a few of the trainings. I have more listed, but that's kind of where we're going this year. And I'm really excited about it because I know I'm going to be helping my tutors with their technology. And one more thing I did want to mention was also doing some training on how to use Kit. It used to be ConvertKit, but just like, what is it? How do you get your domain if you want a domain? Because email is tricky. You can't just use your Gmail and send out emails to people. You'll be called spam, and they're going to give you the boot on that. So that's
Sounds
kind of where
good.
we're at.
There's so much value in that course, Cheryl, honestly. Like I think as I'm listening to you talk about all the different things you're going to be teaching about, and I'm thinking if you can take all those Google products and just make them all work together, like, do you realize how much money you are saving? Because because to pay for all those things separately from third party, people, like to pay for, pay for Zoom. I use Zoom, you use Google Meet. So Google Meet is free. I pay like over $200 a year to use Zoom. So there's one savings right there. Google Sites, you mentioned, and I have to give a shout out to that. I was working with another tutor who made her website in Google Sites. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. It was nicer than my Wix website. And again, I pay like a couple $100 a year to use Wix. She got that for free, right? So if you can make all these things work for you, you're saving like so much money
You
every
are.
single year. That's huge value. I don't think people even realize that. Like if you,
Yeah.
yeah,
You can use everything for free. You're gonna have limited capability with the free stuff. I have a paid workspace account. The reason that I do is so that I can do things like record on Google Meet. I have more storage space for things that I'm downloading and wanting to save inside of my Google Classrooms for my students. So you'll max out at a certain point and then be like, well, I could either pay for more storage or I can just get the workspace account, which is $99 for the entire year for all of that. And I mean, I think when I first started tutoring, I was like, oh, I'm not making any money, so I can't spend money. But I had to have that mind shift that I had to spend some money to make money. I'm in my husband's farm office today because my daughter's home sick, and her bedroom's right below mine, and we're recording this in the morning. And just speaking of spending money, my husband would not be able to farm if he didn't spend money. So of course, we're not going to spend money on that scale, but you do need to invest in your business and in yourself. And so when, like, going back to investing in yourself or spending money, this is kind of circling around to like a training that maybe you offer, Kelly. People shouldn't stop and go, oh, I can't spend, $30 or $40 for this training. I don't have that kind of money. Well, if it fits your needs and it's being offered right now, you should take advantage of it, because you don't know when it's going to be available again, or it could be a one-time training. So take advantage of those things that come up. Clearly, using as many free tools as you can, but don't be afraid to spend money on something. $99 for the entire year for the Google Workspace is so worth it for me. And then paying for trainings as well. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't limit yourself because you're worried about that.
No, I agree. And your membership, the Tech Hub for Tutors, is like it's incredibly the value is really incredible. It's not going to cost you like hundreds of dollars a month or anything like
No,
that.
you can join my Tech Up for Tutors for $25 a month. You guys, I just went out for coffee yesterday. I bought instead of buying a coffee, I'm trying to do the tea thing. My tea was $5. Okay. So I think we
What?
have disposable money in our pockets. It's less than you going through a drive-through to get a meal for you and one other person. And so when you're thinking about, having access to this 24/7, uh, people email me, I respond as quickly as I see the email. They ask questions, I'm there to help them. And I think sometimes you're not going to get that in a lot of other courses because it might be on Kajabi. And I don't know how Kajabi works, but maybe you just paid for the course and there's not like support with it. So I offer that support with it. And then every time I host something, my Tech Up for Tutors members are invited. So I even outlined on my outline that I was kind of sharing with you before we click the go button. My Tech Hub for Tutors gets one private training per month, and then the other ones are not private. I open them up to other people, and there might be a fee for that depending on what I'm doing, but you can have access to it.
That's incredible value, Cheryl, because not only are you learning how to use these tools that are okay, maybe they're not all free, but like they're much cheaper, $99 a month is you're not get you know what, if you pay for a course hosting platform like Kajabi or Thinkific or whatever, Schoolio, all these things, like that's gonna cost you a lot more than $99 a year. Number one. Number two, as a person who's spent literally thousands of dollars at this point on coaching, I can tell you that for the value that you're going to get from the Tech Hub for Tutors course, that is like not that price is ridiculously low. Like you'd be silly not to sign up for it. If you're looking for some kind of coaching or mentorship, and you need some help with technology, with Google, with Kit, with all of that, like call Cheryl because like you know what, if you look around at other coaches and how much they're charging in other membership programs, this is a really good deal. So if you're watching this right now, this is a sign to you that you need to reach out to Cheryl. And I know on my YouTube channel, I'm going to put your contact info in the description box, and on your platform, Cheryl, you'll have your contact info as well. So like reach out, don't hesitate, don't start shopping around. This is the best deal you're going to get right here. And Cheryl, I have to tell you how I started to use Google Classroom. So, first of all, I didn't even introduce myself at the beginning. Sorry. I'm Kelly, and I'm a reading tutor, and I have my own I have my own tutoring business, Kelly's Reading and Math Clubs. I also tutor math, but primarily I tutor reading. So anyway, I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and the biggest problem I've had in my business, the biggest sticking point is how do I scale it? How do I grow it? Because there's been times when I've been like overbooked with students and had to turn them away, and which is painful because it's painful to turn away business, but also painful when a parent comes to you saying, please, I need help for my child, and you can't help them because you're just like too busy, right? So it's painful on many fronts, and I've been telling myself I have to be able to scale this so I can serve more students, so I never have to turn anyone away. But it's been really hard because I have my own program. I don't follow I don't follow any uh a commercial or set reading program. This is a program I've developed on my own based on, over a decade of special education experience in the classroom, based on training I've gotten on my own. And some of it has been from Orton Gillingham, some of it has been from Elevate Your Classroom, which is with Jake Daggett. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but he's pretty awesome with science of reading. So I've kind of like picked up these bits and pieces and done a lot of reading about the science of reading, and followed a lot of great people on social media and learned it on my own. Combine that with my special education experience, and I have my own program that works really, really well, but only I can teach it. I'm like, so what do I do? So now I'm using Google Classroom now from what I've learned from you. And you've really changed my whole mindset about Google Classroom because before, like here where I live in Toronto, Canada, we went under the COVID lockdowns. We never used Google Classroom really before, but under the lockdowns, we all started to have to use it, and everyone was like, "Oh, I can't stand it," because it's like associated with that time. Parents are like, "Oh, the Google Classroom, oh, I don't want," so I was like, "Oh, I can't use it. I can't use it." But since I've been learning from you, I've been seeing how I can use it actually, and I'm just now starting to build classrooms for my students with material in them that other tutors can teach. So now I build the classroom, I plan the material and put it in there. And yes, I know that's not ideal for scaling, but that's the point that I'm at right now. And then the other tutors that work with me can just open up that classroom and start teaching. And it's
I love that.
amazing.
I love that, and I have another suggestion for you too. If
What
you
is
are
it?
trying to well, if you can use Google Classroom for this. If you are trying to train your tutors, put all of your training materials inside of that Google Class, a different one. Training manual, training whatever you want to call it, and stick that in there. And it could be through modules, and then you can create a form for them, like an exit ticket or your assessment piece to make sure that they can do it, or ask them to collaborate and create their own lesson plan, demonstrating that they've understood what you've trained them to do. So you could either do a shared slides, you could do shared docs, something like that, a document where maybe you're asking a question and trying to get a response, or just give them a Google form and they're responding. Multiple choice, true, false, you know, response, whatever. So yeah, you could really scale that. You can even put a video inside of a Google form. So you can put your like little training video, and now give me respond to this. Or what would you do? Or how would you use this material to help this student in this situation? So it'd be a great way to kind of weed out your tutors as, are they qualified enough to work for me? Um, you know, something like that. So
Oh
yeah,
my gosh,
it's
Cheryl.
endless. It's endless.
I love that.
Mhm.
It is endless. I love that. So the value you just gave me right now could potentially make me like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars
It
and
could.
get me out of this stuck situation where I can't scale my business because I'm like, I'm the only one that can teach. I'm not.
Well, and I think there is a little bit of a fear with that of having somebody work for you, because I have hired a couple times people to kind of fill in for me, and I've just trusted that they could do it because I've, either had a relationship with them as, a friend, and I know they're a teacher, or as a teacher that I've worked with, but then you still don't know. So after kind of going through all this and helping people problem solve, that was one thing. And actually, the idea was inspired by my twin sister. She's a realtor, and she was getting ready to do some training videos for her new associates that were working with her. And she kept saying, I feel like I'm repeating myself. I said, just record it and then put it in the Google Classroom. And you can say, day one or onboarding, whatever practices. And she's like, that's brilliant. So there you go.
It is brilliant. It is brilliant. I love that, Cheryl. And people would use other tools for that. They would use Kajabi, they would use Thinkific, they would use like I don't know what there's so many of them, right? If you Google like course posting platform thingies, Podia, that's another one I was using. You will not find one that is costing you like they're all going to be, 40, 50, 60, 100 plus dollars a month. They're not free and they're not cheap. So the fact that we can use Google Classroom for free to do all of this stuff or okay, so almost free. Sorry, you pay $99 a year with
Well,
your
up to a
yeah,
point. You can use it for free up to a point, and then you'll max out your storage. So you'll just have to
yeah.
decide, yeah, what works best
Well,
for you.
I pay for storage. I pay like $3 a month versus 50, 60, 100. That's not bad, right?
I think it's pretty great. So
Yeah.
I've already helped a lot of tutors kind of just figure this out. And most people that have contacted me have wanted to create an online course. And so I just take them through, this is what my courses look like, but this is what you could do. And I think they found a lot of value in that. And I think the one thing that you have to remember is that Google Classroom is a blank slate. So, sometimes looking at a computer screen and you're like, oh my gosh, where do I start? Can be really overwhelming. Take out a piece of paper, put it on paper first. And then, once you get that idea, then you can kind of put it onto the screen. It's not easy. It's not, I don't think anything is ever easy if you're wanting to make something really great. But once you get the hang of it and you practice those skills, it's just incredible. And so I like, yeah, I've really been honored to help a lot of tutors figure this out. And I'm happy that I was able to help you out, Kelly.
Well, yeah, you've helped me out so much, and I hope that your membership grows, like grows and grows and grows and grows because I hope that for obviously for you, but I hope that also too for the other tutors and teachers and all the people who support teachers and tutors who are watching this right now because it is just such a remarkable tool. And we're only talking about Google Classroom right now. There's so many other things you mentioned like YouTube, Google Sheets. We could do a video on each one of these different apps, right? And then how they all come together. Like it's just such an amazing, system. Like use learn how to use these systems. And it is a huge learning curve. So if you need help, call Cheryl because it's not going to cost you a lot of money. It's not going to cost you a lot of your time and you're there to support the people, which is really amazing. So I really hope that your membership grows leaps and bounds this year, Cheryl. I do.
Thank you.
It's good
Thank
for
you.
all
And
of
so
us.
does Lulu, the farm cat.
Good. Hi, Lulu.
Yeah, she's down here crying. So she's like, yes, yes, everybody sign up.
Aw, well, I can't hear her, but come and see us, Lulu. Nice to know she's there. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. This has been a wonderful chat, and we will do it again next month. And we will like Cheryl said, but based on the suggestions of people in the Tutoring Tips for Teachers Facebook group, we will record it and we will put it on YouTube. We'll put it on my YouTube channel is Tutoring Tips for Teachers. What's your channel, Cheryl?
I'm going to put this on Tech Tutor Innovate. So I have two
Okay.
two channels. One of them is Tutoring with Cheryl, and the other one is Tech Tutor Innovate. Since we're talking tech this time, this is where you'll find that.
Okay, so look for them there, and we'll put all the links you need in the description box below, and we'll see you again next month. Bye, everyone.